So meta tags basically provide more information to browsers about our web page, and much like the entire header, really. But the meta tags provide metadata, so just additional data that describes what they're looking at. Now, the meta tags go into the header, and the first one we're going to look at is just what the character set is of the page the browser is looking at. So how we do that is we're going to open up a meta tag, and the attribute of this one that we're going to discuss right now, the character set, is CHARSET, and 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10 rather, it's going to be set to UTF-8. Meta tags do not close, so do not use forward slashes and do not close them manually. This is what a meta tag looks like. It is just a tag. It is not an element, I guess. So the next one we're going to discuss is very important for SEO, and it's a description. Now, the description meta tag is going to be used for search results. For instance, when your website is scraped by Google, Google's bot is going to look at the description meta tag, and if it's appropriate, it's going to use that tag as the little blurb that you see on Google results. So let's go ahead and look up pointy bracket, and let me try and find one. So this right here, and that looks like it's a meta tag. If I actually click through to that website, we're going to inspect the source of the page. We're going to go into the header. We're going to look at their meta tags they have here. And maybe that is not the case here. All right. So it doesn't look like they have a meta description that I can see. Maybe I'm just missing it. Let me look up here again. They have author. They have keywords. There's the description. All right. So as you can see, this text right here is exactly what was used right here. And so you can kind of tell, you can keep it short. I think it's 240 characters that the description should be, and enough that it fits in here without, without breaking up the text and making the user not able to read the entire description. So that's why this is good practice to use a meta tag for description. So we're going to go ahead and create the meta tag, and the name of this is going to be description, and then the content is going to be, this page is a web page for to learn HTML. And we'll close that. Something that's deprecated, at least as far as Google is concerned, is the meta keywords. Now, this used to be big for SEO as well, because what the search engines would do is when they crawl your site, they look at the keywords and they use those, they used to use those keywords. So if people were searching their search engine for those keywords and your site was a relevant fit based on that, then your site would appear. So we're going to cover this just for the sake of covering it. However, I don't think I've ever used this, or I have rather, but it's been a really long time. So here you would just write a comma-separated list of keywords. So for instance, HTML5, Udemy, learn, code, etc., etc. These are all keywords that would be used hypothetically for the search engines to deliver my page when these keywords were searched. So that's the meta keywords tag. Now the meta author tag, let's remove that trailing comma and drop down here. This one is something I do recommend using. It's the author. So this would be the author of the website. So for instance, right here, it would be Nick Germain, because I am the person writing this page and I want credit for it to some degree. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is a viewport meta tag, and this is very important for responsive web design. So when I say responsive, that means if I look at it on my computer, if I look at it on a laptop, maybe even a Jumbotron or my cell phone, I want it to look good. Now, right now, this is not a problem because we haven't really built out much to the site, so I can rescale here and we can see that everything kind of just fits as it is. This is not the case once you actually start building websites. We need to manually and kind of automatically account for different screen sizes, and we're going to be learning about that once we jump into CSS, and that is another reason why Bootstrap is such an amazing framework, because it automates and really increases the speed of development just by giving you a base framework where responsive design is directly, it's a foundation of the framework. So the meta tag corresponding to it, and you will need this in order to use Bootstrap, is the name of it is viewport, and the content is, let me open up the quotes here, it's going to be width equals device dash width with a comma, and initial scale equals 1.0. This is going to mean that the initial, well, you guys can probably understand what this means. The width of the page is going to be equal to the device width at all times, and the initial scale is going to be equal to 1.0. Now this scale can change as we resize the browser. So those are meta tags and how to use them. In the next video, we're going to jump into CSS. So you guys have completed the HTML portion of this course. It wasn't as long as I thought it was, but there's only a handful of elements we really need to learn, and each one is similar to other ones. Now, we are going to be working in HTML still, and we're going to be learning more about the attributes you can give to elements and why you would give them to elements.